Hey guys, it's the MetalBlade 5. Welcome back to another MetalBlade theory. This time I finally have a Mega Man related theory, and it suggests that Dr. Wily is actually a robot. I actually came up with this theory after I finished my Let's Play of Mega Man 3, and it's where this theory actually starts. At the end of Mega Man 3, after Dr. Wily is defeated by Mega Man once again, the fortress starts to collapse, with large blocks falling on top of both Mega Man and Wily. However, when the block hits Mega Man, it breaks while Wily is crushed, and then Proto Man comes in and saves Mega Man while wondering where Dr. Wily is and saying that it's too late. So what I'm suggesting here is that Wily didn't actually start out as a robot, and instead, he was killed by the block that crushed him, and that the Dr. Wily, in every game afterwards, is just a robot version of him. I mean, Proto Man says it's too late, which suggests that something bad has happened to Dr. Wily. And in Mega Man 3, there is even a robot dummy version of Wily. So it's possible that is the Wily that we see in every game afterwards. Now, you're all probably thinking this sounds crazy, but after Mega Man 3, there are ways in which Dr. Wily is, well, different. Particularly in Mega Man 7. After Wily's defeat in Mega Man 7, a bunch of rubble from the collapsing fortress falls on top of Wily. Sound familiar? But this time, Wily is perfectly unharmed. When I first saw this, I was always confused at how Wily was not dead after that, since he's a pretty old guy. But with the idea of him possibly being a robot, this starts to make sense. Also, in Mega Man 7, if you've seen Game Theory's Mega Man Theory, or my response to it, then you'll know that Mega Man tries to kill Wily at the end of Mega Man 7. While this doesn't occur in the Japanese version, and while I have arguments as to why Mega Man tries to kill Wily despite his programming, there is another character within the Mega Man series that does a very similar thing. Bass. For anyone watching that isn't familiar with Mega Man, Bass is a robot created by Dr. Wily to destroy Mega Man and was introduced in Mega Man 7. However, while Bass was created by Wily, he has turned against him on a number of occasions. This is because Bass desires to be the strongest robot and will turn against Wily if he thinks he'll get in the way of his goal. While Bass doesn't ever attempt to kill Wily, he does attack him on occasion, even though, as Wily says in Mega Man 7, robots can harm humans. And while you could argue that Wily didn't program Bass in this way, Bass was specifically created to destroy Mega Man, as he pretty much is an evil version of Mega Man. He even has his own robot dog, Treble. Bass might be perfectly fine with turning against Wily because of him being a robot, assuming that this theory is true, and doesn't recognize Wily as a human as a result. Also, as I mentioned earlier, Bass's goal is to become the strongest robot, so Wily, if he is a robot, giving orders to Bass can possibly anger him, since that would technically make Wily more powerful than him. Also, in later Mega Man games, Wily appears to be able to build Robot Masters much faster, since in both 7 and 8, he appears to build 4 more Robot Masters almost instantly after you defeat the first 4. As if, like, he suddenly now knows how to build robots much faster. And in the games after 3, he seems to go back to more hacking robots as he did in Mega Man 1, such as in Mega Man 6, he reprogrammed all of the robots at the fighting tournament. In Mega Man 9, he was able to convince all of the Robot Masters to supposedly be fixed by him, but in actuality get reprogrammed instead. And in Mega Man 10, the Robo-Enza virus causes the Robot Masters to turn evil. Perhaps this is because Wily now has a better understanding of how robots think and work. I wonder why! Even though I personally think that Wily doesn't realize that he's a robot yet, for reasons I'll get to later. Now for a piece of evidence which I believe proves that Wily is a robot. Again, assuming that this theory is true. And I'm pretty sure any Mega Man fan that's watching this would have expected this, which is the ending of Mega Man 10. As I said earlier, in Mega Man 10, the plot revolves around a virus called the Robo-Enza virus, which only affects robots and causes the 8 Robot Masters to turn evil. And after defeating the Robot Masters, it is revealed that Wily created the virus. Shocking, I know. And this eventually leads to the final battle in space, where Wily is, for some reason, perfectly fine, even out of the capsule. And when Wily is defeated, he suddenly gets infected with Robo-Enza. But wait! Robo-Enza only affects robots. Wily even mentions this. To me, this proves that Wily is a robot, because how else could he get infected with a virus that only affects robots? And then the game ends with Dr. Wily's hospital room filled with the cure for Robo-Enza, but Wily has gone missing. I think that it is here that Wily finds out that he actually is a robot, and thus makes a cure and flees to do other things. Now you all may be wondering something. You might be thinking that if Wily was a robot, then how does he remember Mega Man and everything else that happens in the previous games when he is supposedly human? Well, I have an explanation for that, and with it we have to go 100 years into the future and look at the Mega Man X series. The link that helps connect the X series and my theory is none other than Zero. Zero is one of the protagonists of the X series along with X himself, but despite being a good guy, in the opening cutscene of Zero's story in Mega Man X4, it is revealed that Zero was actually created by Dr. Wily. This is implied in X2 and X3, but X4 was when it was confirmed. What does this have to do with Wily being a robot? Well, fast forward to the final boss battle in Zero's story, and Sigma reveals that Zero was found in a capsule by a group of Maverick hunters, and that when he woke up, he started killing all of them because he was infected with some kind of virus. This led to Sigma, back when he was the leader of the Maverick hunters, to be sent in, where he fought against Zero and won by smashing the emblem thing on Zero's head with a Dr. Wily symbol on it. This transferred the virus from Zero to Sigma, and led to Sigma becoming evil and the main villain of the X series. Again, what does this have to do with Wily possibly being a robot? In Mega Man X5, Sigma releases a virus known as the Maverick virus, which was also the same virus that infected Zero. The Maverick virus causes Reploids to turn evil and go Maverick against their will. Kind of like Roboenza! Huh. Then during the final battle, after traversing through Sigma's fortress filled with references to other Mega Man games, you receive some interesting piece of dialogue from Sigma. If you're playing as X, Sigma will say that he is not the only person that hates him. And if you're playing as Zero, Sigma will mention the man who appears in Zero's dreams. Both of these pieces of dialogue are referring to Dr. Wily. But wait, Dr. Wily is dead at this point, and only Zero knows about his dreams. How is that possible? What this piece of dialogue also reveals is that the Maverick virus is actually Dr. Wily's subconscious influencing the actions of all of the Reploids it infects, including Sigma. This means that when Wily died in Mega Man 3, if this is true, then his subconscious could have been transported into a robot body like the Maverick virus. This explains how Wily remembers everything, as well as other things such as the references in Sigma's Fortress in X5, since there's even references to the classic games in there, and even Zero having the virus in the first place. Wily could have downloaded his subconscious into Zero as a virus to make sure he wouldn't step out of line like Bass occasionally does. Maybe that's what that mini Wily capsule in Mega Man 3's credits was about. It was possibly transporting Wily's subconscious to a robot body. So that's my theory to suggest that Dr. Wily died at the end of Mega Man 3, and that every time we see him after that, he's actually a robot, just with his subconscious transferred into it. As always, this is just a theory, and it's not fact unless Capcom has anything to say about it, but I doubt it, since they act like Mega Man doesn't exist anymore aside from crossovers. On occasion.